Fox News alert. About 40 minutes ago, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegsth out with a strong statement about the impact of the bombs dropped on Iran's nuclear sites over the weekend. He's disputing reports Iran's nuclear program was set back only a couple of months. Secretary Hegsth saying, quote, "Based on everything we have seen, and I've seen it all, our bombing campaign obliterated Iran's ability to create nuclear weapons. Our massive bombs hit exactly the right spot at each target and worked perfectly. The impact of those bombs is buried under a mountain of rubble in Iran, so anyone who says the bombs were not devastating is just trying to undermine the president and the successful mission." And moments ago, here on Fox, Rafael Grossi, the head of the IAEA, seemed to back up Secretary Hegsth.
What I can tell you, I believe that we have to now concentrate what happened. It's a new reality now. Iran has far less capabilities than it had in the past. And now we have to work for the future, like President Trump says, for a future where Iran has a constructive role to play.
All right, joining me now to discuss these latest developments is retired Army four-star general and former U.S. CENTCOM commander David Petraeus. General, thank you for being with us here. First of all, you hear these conflicting reports. You hear what's coming from the Pentagon and the IAEA versus these other media reports. They have anonymous sources. What do you make of this and what you've been able to see in the intel, in the photos of the effect of our bombs in Iran?
Well, first and foremost, the operations by the Israelis and by our American men and women, these have been absolutely superb, very, very impressive indeed. And the fact that they were carried out without any casualties to the forces involved is really nothing short of remarkable. There's no question that there has been very, very significant damage done to all of the known nuclear sites within Iran. And I suspect that this has indeed set the program back much, much more than many months. But the bomb damage assessment process does need to be complete to validate that. And that's a very challenging one, especially if a lot of the damage was done inside a mountain at Fordo, which is, of course, the most important enrichment site when it comes to enriching to the higher levels that were reached, over 60% called highly enriched uranium, from which it's pretty quick to go to weapons grade. And of course, that was one of the real concerns here. But we need to ensure that there is not highly enriched uranium that was moved from one of the sites in which it was stored, not centrifuges somewhere else, not another site underground about which there have been rumors from time to time. So again, I would allow this bomb damage assessment process to play itself out. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs, I think, was correct when he said there was severe damage, no question about that. But now we need to see how much that really has been. But again, I'm quite confident that this has set back the program very, very substantial amount of time, undoubtedly years, especially given that this wasn't just, again, against facilities. It was also a couple of dozen of the most important nuclear scientists, a lot of their research locations, and so forth and so on.
All right, so you're certain it set the program back several years. It does, to your point.
I'm confident that it did. There's no certainty
instead of
here,
certain.
Will.
I understand. You're not certain. You're confident that it set back the program several years. And your point is well taken, and it's very prudent to suggest we still have to get the evidence and the intel and exactly what happened, which makes you wonder about anonymous sources that say with some other level of confidence it's only been set back a couple of months. I think it's important to talk about two different angles here. The centrifuges and the enriched uranium to 60%. The reason I say it's important to focus on both of those elements is for peace to maintain, at least United States staying out of this war, it has to be assured that we accomplished our goal. And our goal seemed to be to set back the Iranian nuclear program. Now, earlier today, General, I spoke to Senator James Langford about how well we accomplished these goals. Watch.
We obliterated a great deal of their program, but we don't know if we took out all of their centrifuges, and we don't know the current location of all of that highly enriched uranium. The number one goal for us is to eliminate their nuclear program. Now we've got to actually get international inspectors on the ground again to be able to evaluate what's there, what's not there, and to be able to take possession of that nuclear material and to be able to get it out so they don't have that capability.
Okay, in the spirit of trying to understand if peace will be maintained. General, I want to ask you a series of questions, hopefully very quickly. Number one, you've already brought up that we don't know the status of the centrifuges, but that would be the most important part to obliterate if we don't want them to enrich uranium. But number two, are you concerned about the 60% uranium? We don't know for sure where the entire stockpiles were. Those could be used, as I've understood, for a dirty bomb, for example. So how concerned are you about the uranium stockpiles?
Well, as I stated at the outset, I'm very concerned that there could be highly enriched uranium and centrifuges somewhere else. In fact, I think the senator characterized this perfectly. We don't know fully. And so I think any of these assessments actually, again, as I said, I'm pretty confident that it set it back years at least. But again, there is no certainty. And so I'd be cautious about individuals who are stating flat out that this or that actually happened until we know for a fact and can account for all of the highly enriched uranium, up to 60%, so that it can't be used in some nefarious fashion or more highly enriched to weapons grade, and also about the centrifuges that could enable that to happen.
Okay, one last component, and the third question for you. Again, in the spirit of hoping that peace can be maintained and the United States has already done its job in Iran, if Iran doesn't allow inspectors in so that we can get the answers to these questions without, I assume, the help of the Mossad or spy agencies to gather intel on the ground, if Iran denies inspection agencies access to these sites, do you think that would be something that also could disrupt the peace we currently have with Iran?
Depends on what our level of confidence is in the intelligence findings. And we have very good sources and methods and so forth of over time determining if there is HEU, if there are centrifuges left. And that's the key. And in fact, I think that I saw a report today that Iran said it is no longer going to cooperate with the International Atomic Energy Agency, which would be very disappointing and very unhelpful.
Right. And may still leave them subject to sanctions. But to your point, we have other ways of getting this information, perhaps not predicate further military action by the United States and Iran. But we will see. General David Petraeus, enlightening conversation. Thank you for your time.
Good to be with you, Will. Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.